I seriously don't know where to begin with this one, so why don't we start with the journey of picking this f***ing scrap metal worthy system up. This is a HP Compact DC7100, which I picked up from Gumtree for £5. At first, I thought I'd gotten a pretty good deal for my money, and I had plans to turn it into a pretty baller retro gaming PC for some classics like Half-Life. Featuring a 2.8GHz Pentium 4, 2.5GB of RAM and a 40GB hard drive, I thought these specs would be more than enough for the tasks that I wanted to do. For retro gaming, I thought the choice of Windows XP suited the system best, so I jumped straight into the installer. We were making some pretty good progress in there, and nothing seemed to be wrong, until we hit the 34 minutes remaining mark. The system entirely locked up. I went through multiple install DVDs trying to see whether it was the fault of a dodgy ISO, but every time I had the same issue. Maybe this system wasn't destined for Windows XP after all, so my good friend Budget Builds suggested the use of Windows 2000. This install seemed to go better. We even got all the way to the end of the installer, but after pressing finish, we got hit in the face with one of these, the infamous blue screen of death. At this point, I'd had enough for one day, so I thought I'd pick up where I left off the next day. In the second day of this HP extravaganza, I decided to try some changes to the hardware. I swapped out the 40GB hard drive for a 250GB hard drive, which made no difference, along with swapping in some different RAM, which once again we had no luck at all with. I could get into how we tried to install Windows XP onto the hard drive from another system, but the ultimate summary that I have to say about that experience is that the cooler of that computer set on fire.
You fully can.
Oh boy, my computer smells like burning.
While Budget tried to help me maintain my sanity, I was furious with how much distress this system caused me.
It was around this point I had a call from Owen. He joined our Discord call, and it was clear that even without any proper medical diagnosis, I could see the HP was causing him to lose the plot completely. He'd tried it all really, Windows XP, Windows 2000, just nothing seemed to work. The PC was going through the stages of booting, installing, freezing, deciding to off itself for about half an hour and not post, and then would promptly come back to life. I don't think I've ever seen a man hate a HP as much as this, with Owen trying to get an operating system on this computer. It was an emotional roller coaster that ended up in a deep pit of despair. Rumour has it he was even thinking about installing Windows ME.
I ripped the system from my desk, chucked it into the garden, and seriously let all my anger out.
You see this right here, this is the ultimate weapon. This is a paint roller. Hey look, it's as if I'm in Half-Life. Yeah, get it? Because they have a crowbar.
At the end of this, I wouldn't call this a waste of PC hardware. Instead, I have saved someone else from losing their sanity trying to do a simple thing on this system. Install a f***ing operating system. But don't worry, not all hope in this video is lost. Due to watching me struggle for the past 2 days with this computer, Budget Builds was kind enough to perform some benchmarks on the same hardware as the HP, to show what sort of performance we would have seen if the machine had worked. of this, all I have to say is that sometimes there are systems that are simply not worth saving. I wasted a full 2 days of my life trying to install an operating system on this machine, replacing CMOS batteries, replacing hard drives, RAM, pretty much every component that could be swapped out, I did it. But every time, this HP, or horrible product, refused to do as it was told. I never enjoy destroying electronics, but this computer had everything coming to it.